Every masterpiece begins with the finest of materials. Here,
First step in this transformation is handled not by hand, but by machines of incredible precision, ensuring absolute purity.
Journey begins towards the heart of the foundry, a crucible where it will be reborn in fire.
Placed within a crucible designed to withstand unimaginable temperatures, the solid gold awaits its elemental change. Now, sealed within the induction furnace, electromagnetic fields will do what nature takes millennia to achieve. Solid becomes liquid. Form becomes potential. The metamorphosis is complete. Extracted at its peak temperature, the crucible is moved to the casting station. There is no time to waste.
Awaiting it is a mold, engineered to tolerances of mere microns, which will define the first solid shape of the future timepiece. The pour is the most critical stage. The temperature, speed, and angle must be exact to prevent imperfections or air bubbles.
Like liquid light, the gold flows, filling the void and beginning its rapid transition back to a solid state.
Once filled, the cooling process begins. This controlled solidification is key to the metal's final strength and integrity.
As it cools, the crystalline grain structure of the gold alloy is formed. From liquid fire, a solid foundation. From the foundry's fire to the forge's might, the raw gold now enters a realm of colossal pressure. Brute force, refined by engineering, will plastically deform the metal, forcing it to take on a new, more complex identity. This is a multi-ton hydraulic press. Its sole purpose is to exert a pressure. The final shape is dictated by a set of dies, themselves carved from hardened steel, positioned with absolute accuracy. The metal is now ready to receive the first formative blow. There is no fanfare, only the application of irresistible force.
In this fraction of a second, the metal's crystalline structure is about to be violently rewritten.
Impact. The gold is coerced, its cylindrical form erased and replaced by a rough but recognizable coin. Pressure is held, work hardening the metal, increasing its density and durability for the machining that will follow. The first shape is achieved, but this is just a crude blank, a shadow of the final form. Each strike work hardens the gold, making it brittle. To continue shaping it without fractures, the blank is passed through an induction furnace, heating it to a precise temperature for a specific duration.
This cycle of immense pressure, followed by intense heat, is repeated multiple times. Each step,
Immediately, while still hot and soft, it is subjected to the next stamping. A new set of dies refines the shape further.
gradually, through this brutal but precise ballet of force and fire, a simple coin is transformed into the recognizable foundation of a watch case.
This is not a single act, but a conversation between machine and metal, repeated more than a dozen times.
Strike, anneal, strike again. Each cycle refines the shape, compresses the metal, and builds the inherent strength of the final piece.
Until, after the final strike, the process of forging is complete.
What emerges is no longer a simple blank, but the raw, hardened, and perfectly formed heart of the watch.
Its trial by fire and force is over. Now, it moves on to another realm.
From a world of brute force to a universe of precision. Here, the raw shape will be sculpted not by pressure, but by subtraction.
The blank is offered to the Computer Numerical Control, or CNC machine. A marvel of automation.
Locked in place, immovable. The stage is set for a subtractive process of over 100 distinct machining operations.
Guided by a digital blueprint, the machine selects its first tool. A diamond, the hardest substance.
And now, the first cut begins. The first of thousands of precise movements that will reveal the true form hidden within the gold.
The process is surgical. Material is removed, micro-layer by micro-layer, revealing the
Thousands of lines of code translate into flawless motion as the machine carves the solid block. Nothing is wasted. Even these shavings, the swarf, are meticulously collected.
Dozens of different tools are used in sequence. Each is designed for a specific task, from broad milling.
Every surface, every edge, every hole is machined to a tolerance of a few microns. The final cut is made. The geometry is now perfect, but the soul of the gold.
freed from the machine, the case begins the next stage of its transformation, the long and meticulous process of finishing.
Here, artistry and automation combine. A series of polishing stages will systematically erase the marks.
The process begins with a coarse abrasive. This first step, known as satin finishing, removes the deepest machining.
Beneath the dull exterior, the first hint of luster begins to emerge.
Every millimeter of the surface is treated, creating a perfectly uniform base. This ensures that the final polish will have no underlying imperfections.
Next, a finer abrasive compound is used. The goal is no longer to shape, but to smooth.
The luster begins to awaken. Light, for the first time, can reflect from the surface with a degree of clarity. Finally, the mirror polish. An abrasive so fine it is measured in microns, applied with a soft cotton.
The true face of the gold is revealed. A surface without flaw, reflecting the world with perfect fidelity.
From a rough, forged blank, a perfect form has been revealed. A process of violence and precision, ending in flawless beauty. From this moment on, the case is treated as a finished jewel. It will not be touched by any abrasive or metallic surface again.
It is secured for the next part of its journey, protected from the slightest speck of dust or microscopic scratch. Its form is now final. But a case is merely a vessel. It now awaits its heart and its face.
And so it travels to yet another specialized workshop, where the delicate arts of dial making and movement assembly will take place. While the case is being forged, another journey begins in parallel. The creation of the watch's face.
It starts as a simple disc of brass, machined and brushed to perfection. But it is the printing that gives it its identity.
Ancient art of pad printing, refined to a microscopic science. A special, permanent ink is applied to an engraved plate.
A silicone pad then acts as a transfer medium, lifting the ink image with absolute fidelity.
And in a single, perfect impression, the dial is given its name, an identity printed with an exactitude that will last for centuries. But a dial needs more than text. It needs markers to measure the hours, indices of solid gold, each one.
This task is too delicate for human hands. A micro-manipulator, guided by an optical recognition system.
With a grip lighter than a breath, it selects a single marker. The margin for error here is 0.
Navigating in three-dimensional space with submicron accuracy, the arm moves the marker to its designated position on the dial.
Perfectly aligned. Each marker is not glued, but riveted through the dial, creating a permanent, inseparable bond. 1 down, 11 to go.
A concentrated beam of light, hotter than the surface of the sun.
The shapes are perfect.
This final finishing is a microscopic art form. The rough edges left by the laser are
Each
beveled.
hand receives the same level of attention until the complete set, the trio that will chart the passing of time, is ready.
The face, the markers, and the hands. After separate journeys of creation, the constituent parts of the watch's visage are finally brought together.
Creation of the dial assembly is complete, a testament to microscopic precision and aesthetic perfection.
But this beautiful face is soulless without a heart. And so it travels, This is the mechanical heart. Over 200 components, many smaller than a grain of sand.
To transfer energy, springs to store it, and jewels, synthetic rubies, to reduce the friction that is the eternal enemy of precision.
The assembly begins with the main plate. This is the chassis of the movement, the foundation upon which every other component will be built.
The first jewel is selected. Its purpose, to serve as a virtually frictionless pivot point for a spinning
It is
gear.
press fit into place, a permanent fixture. This process, known as jeweling, is the first step in building the intricate gear train.
One by one, the jewels are set.
Each gear is mounted, its hardened steel pivot resting within the soft yet incredibly durable cradle of a synthetic ruby.
To secure the gear train, bridges are installed. These plates hold the upper pivots of the gears, creating a strong and stable sandwich of components.
Lowered with microscopic precision, the bridge is then secured with tiny heat-blued screws, locking the gear train into its final operational position.
Each screw tightened to the exact same torque. The foundation of the movement's power transmitting system is now complete and secure. But a gear train only transmits power. The hairspring is the single most delicate component. The slightest shock, the faintest magnetic field, lowered into place, the balance staff, an axle of hardened steel, must find its home in a ruby jewel just a few microns wide.
Once seated, the balance bridge is lowered, securing the oscillator in place. The heart is now installed, but it does not yet beat. Secured and ready. The entire mechanism is a cascade of potential energy, waiting for a single impulse to bring it to life.
The first impulse, the first breath, life.
With a final screw, the automatic winding system is secured. The mechanical heart is complete.
Effortless. The slightest movement is captured by the rotor and translated through a masterpiece of microengineering into life-sustaining energy for the watch.
A self-sufficient, microscopic city of gears and springs. Now, all the elements, the case, the dial, and the living movement converge. The final synthesis is at hand. The final act. The dial is fitted to the movement. The face is married to the heart, a permanent bond that unites aesthetics with mechanics. Soul of the watch, complete and alive. It is now ready to be placed within its golden vessel. The final union. The living heart is lowered into its precious, immutable body. A perfect union. The movement is now cased, but it remains vulnerable, open.
A gasket ensures a perfect seal. Then, the sapphire crystal, a material virtually impervious.
Finally, the case back.
Sealed. With a precisely measured torque, the case becomes a hermetically sealed vault, impervious to dust and resistant to the pressures of the deep.
Synthesis is complete, but a promise of performance is not enough. It must be proven. The trials begin.
First, the trial by water. The watch is placed within a hyperbaric chamber, where it will be subjected to pressure
Merged, and then the pressure is applied. A test of every seal, every gasket, every microscopic point of union. Any weakness, any flaw, however microscopic, it endures. Passing every trial, its integrity is confirmed. And finally, it runs. Perfect, proven,
and alive.
The journey is complete. The factories fall silent. And the masterpiece waits.
Revealed. A culmination of fire and force, chemistry and code, power and patience. Every curve, every edge, a story of its creation. Forged in pressure, sculpted by diamond, polished to perfection.
And at its heart, a perpetual beat, counting out the seconds of a life, not with cold electronics, but with the warm, living soul of a machine.
From solid gold to a legend in time.